Let me know what you want.
This is going really well so far, isn't it? Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for disrupting the whole flow of the convention floor yesterday. They had to move you guys out to the hallway because the line was so long.
I'm giving out money.
Yeah, my line was longer. I think my line was a fair bit longer, wasn't it?
Anybody that comes by to get an autograph, they get a tenner. So the line right there is so long.
They just go around, change their clothes, and come back round again.
It's just 4 people, really.
The jokes they keep rolling, laugh.
Cousins Rex.
No, we after we did already. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Big round of applause. In December, there was an exhibit in Los Angeles entitled The 35 Days of Kevin Eastman, the 35 days each celebrating each year that Heavy Metal magazine has been in print. It was a huge hit. And the third week of that event was entitled Biz and Buzz, celebrating the works that you two have done together. And on the Facebook event for that week, launching off, I typed in, "Will Biz be there?" And as a joke, someone wrote, "Yes, he will. Shh, don't tell anyone." And that night, the place was packed. It was swarming with people looking for the opportunity to see these two great artists and creators, legends together.
That's more like it. Now you're warming up now.
And today it is not a joke. So another round of applause, please.
Yeah.
Full set of teeth between the both of us.
Yeah, I'm looking for these two somewhere.
Kevin,
Sign of true legends.
I'm saving up.
I want to start off that night, the opening of your event. We talked a little bit about the impact that the Frank Miller run of Daredevil had on you. Obviously, a lot of elements from that found their way into the Turtles, but also, that panel layout, his whole art style seemed to impact you as well. I was wondering if you could repeat some of that because that was some very interesting stuff.
Absolutely. I'd say first that Simon and I here today, we literally stand on the shoulders of giants in the sense that I sat down next to Joe Sinnott on the convention floor signing yesterday, and I was like freaking out because I'm a huge Joe Sinnott fan. But it's guys like Jack Kirby, Joe Sinnott, Jerry Robinson, so many that came before us that inspired us to want to draw comic books. And thanks to us being fans of them, they get to inspire us. And thanks to fans like you guys, that we get to make a living doing some pretty awesome things. And it's a pretty amazing job. Being a huge fan of comics, I remember enjoying Daredevil when Bob Brown and Gene Colan and those guys were doing it, and Roger McKenzie was writing. And I remember Daredevil 158 when this new guy comes along named Frank Miller, and started out as kind of a penciler, then quickly took over the series as writer, plotter, and it really took a title that was about to be canceled and gave it such a rebirth of intensity and brought comics, I think, into the modern age at that time. It was funny. I mean, I was inspired by guys like Jack Kirby and Commandy, Richard Corbin for what he did, and guys like Dave Sim, who were self-publishers, Heavy Metal Magazine, Underground Publishing, and I really took self-publishing, Frank Miller, the most popular themes in comics at that time, from New Mutants to what Miller was doing with Ronin. I picked the best and most popular things, Peter and I did, I should say, and we rolled them all into one thing called the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And we literally ripped off everybody to make our own idea, and thought we printed 3,000 copies and didn't think we'd sell one of them. And thanks to guys like you, we're doing it almost 30 years later still. But it's funny, you were talking about things like, people would say, well, where did you come up with the idea of the origin of the Turtles? And the origin was when Daredevil was hit near the eyes as young Matt Murdock, this canister of radioactive waste hit him near the eyes. Well, in the comic Daredevil, they never said what happened to that canister, so we continued the origin where it continued bouncing down the street.
I drank it.
Simon drank it. The canister bounced further down the street and smashed into this boy that was holding this jar of turtles, and they all fell into the sewer. The evil Foot Clan came from Frank Miller's The Hand from that. Splinter came from Stick from Daredevil. I mean, parody, rip-off.
It's interesting.
And we never got sued.
It's interesting. Kevin talks about Frank Miller because when I read comics as a child. I totally had nothing to do with it as a young adult. But when I saw Dark Knight Returns, it was like a kick in the head. I could not believe how comics have progressed. The violence and,
No, that's...
I mean, it was an amazing inspiration.
It was.
It really moved on.
That was a huge, I think, that time we were all, because we're about the same age, even though sometimes I forget, he forgets because we're getting older. We're both going to be 50 this year. Actually, you just turned 50. I'm going to be 50 in a couple months.
Really, not 50-50.
We both had a lot of work done.
I can't believe I'm 50, man.
That's why we look this good. We both had a lot of work done.
We did each other's work, right?
That's, yeah. We got to start getting breasts next week. Too.
Well, bigger ones.
And I'll never leave the house. Now we're a bazaar and I'll be in Brazil.
You know, that's very interesting you're talking about The Dark Knight, because I've always wondered. No, I want to try and get back on topic a little bit.
Good luck.
Good luck.
It's going to really go out of control, isn't it?
No, but you know, it's funny with Dark Knight. I was a fan of comics, but that made me go back to the comic store and start buying comics again.
Same here.
Things like Dark Knight and Watchmen, and even
same
with Watchmen's Swamp Thing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
What really struck me about Batman was that there was that image where Batman was against the wall. He was bleeding.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that didn't happen in comics.
It was pretty gritty. I have to imagine for people in comic books that it was a little bit like Sgt. Pepper in the 60s. You know, there's this famous story of the Beach Boys being excited about Pet Sounds coming out, and then they hear Sgt. Pepper, and wow, I've really got to up my game.
Total game changer, yeah. I mean, it was. And, you know, Frank Miller as a creator and an innovator from doing a project like Ronin, which was a massive influence on me. It was the first real, you know, powerhouse creator-owned property project, and an artist that really had come into his own after, you know, we get to all watch him learn and experiment and excel so dramatically from Daredevil 158 to 191. And then he went on to do Ronin, but you look at everything from 300 to Sin City to Bad Boy that he did with Simon, which is a fantastic comic.
Was no one bought?
Check it out, buy it on the floor.
What did you say?
No one bought it. I don't think they did. No.
Really?
It didn't sell very well, no.
I liked it. I liked especially the new edition they came up with. I thought it was fantastic.
So, Simon, this is a convention that focuses on art. You know, that's really what this convention is about, comic book art. And, you know, so I'd like to ask you kind of a technical question early on in this panel, and that is, how can you be so awesome?
Very easily. Like, it comes natural.
It seems like it's always been easy for you. Is that true? There was an interview...
No, that's one thing I do that, it's very, that one thing I can do well is that.
Was it
pretty much screw up everything else in my life, but yeah, I can I mean, I have no idea really.
Was it always? You know, there's
yes, always has been. Yeah. No, I mean, no, literally, as a child, I know what you're going to say, so I'm jumping on you.
Jump it off.
But as a child, had people surrounding my work and looking at it and very enthusiastic, and I wonder why everyone makes such a fuss about what I was doing. So I knew at that point that.
I have a perspective on that, and it's I've had the good fortune to work with Simon in the studio, and then occasionally he'd come around to California and we'd drink all the booze in the house.
Sometimes, just on the other occasion.
No, I'm kidding. No, I had a good fortune to work at Simon's studio for a couple weeks at a time here and here, and he's come over and worked 5 or 6 weeks at a time. And to me, this is what struck me is, as an artist, an inspired artist, I love to draw, I love what I do, and I work very, very hard for my drawings because I feel like every painting's a massive war, nothing comes out the way I want. The picture that I see in my mind never comes out as good as the picture I'm trying to put down on paper. I remember the first time I worked at a studio out in Carterton, and Simon's working on this page, and he's got a big plate of curry that's covering half the painting on this page. There's Guinness cans and cigarette butts and shit fucking everywhere. The place is a disaster zone. He's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's got the cigarette hanging out of his mouth, talking about a 350 Hemi something or other. And I'm just watching this work pour out of him, and I realize this guy is the real deal. He's a real artist, true. It's like from his balls to his bones. It's like, it's the shit. And it just comes out. And it's, you know, I wrote it in the intro to his book, but he is a true natural talent in everything he does, and I watch him in incredible awe through everything he does.
How would you...
It's 50 this time.
I mean, you've been creating art for a very long time. What sort of developmental landmarks throughout your life. There's a famous story about Frazetta, as a young boy, being given criticism that he didn't know anatomy, and he took a George Bridgman book home and copied it all in one night, and then he said, "Now I know anatomy," and it was done like that. Was there anything similar like that with you?
No, not at all. No. No, what I do was just distort anatomy. I found a way of actually making it look like I did know understand anatomy. To understand.
How about you?
I've never really studied it already. I mean, you observe.
But muscles originating and inserting in different parts.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the thing is that muscles, the way they stretch, pull, and contract, and it's something I'm very much aware of.
How about your speed? You've said in some interviews that you feel.
Yeah.
How about you?
It just pours out. Literally pours out. We're talking about pre-thinking a piece of work. I've never done that generally. It just literally there's everything there. It just comes out. It comes out.
There's a good story. We were actually related to that as we were working for, I don't know.
Play drums as well.
About 3 weeks trying to finish a story.
On,
this melting pot story, and it was running behind. So Eric and I were over there working in the studio, and he was finishing. I had to leave there with a finished cover for cover of book 4. And so every day it would be, I'd start early in the morning, sort of subtle hints like, "Hey, we got to get around to that cover today, mate." And it kept going on for like the whole 2 weeks. And then the last day, Simon goes, "You'll leave with this painting." And so he started it, I think, about 9 o'clock at night. And the next day, like 16 hours later, I left with this painting. And it was the best one of the series. It was like I just watched this literal explosion and this beautiful.
You know what?
painting.
I think because it was a challenge, I was backed up.
No,
I always find I'm best when I'm backed up. I leave it. If I've got 5 days to do something, I wait till the last day, the 5th day. I'm right in the corner. Then I work hard. And if I've got to try and prove something, because I've always been a very sort of physical person. I mean, to sit down in one spot, contain me, it's difficult.
It's got to be difficult.
So it has to be more of like a war,
Shock therapy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, shock therapy. Yeah.
He would do this.
It's what you know what I mean. It's like a sport, a war.
I mean, are you ever frustrated with what you're doing, and have to start again, or there's?
Generally, no.
I can't picture you, throwing.
There's always a way of bullshitting your way around things, I mean, 50% of it is bullshitting your way through a piece, I mean, I'm surprised I've got away with it so far,
Has anyone ever beat you in Pictionary?
You can take massive shortcuts and still appear like you've done a great deal of work. Like, for example, some commissions I do, what I do is I just do so much line work, and so much stuff's going on, they just think there's more than there really is, I just fool people.
It's just smoke and mirrors?
Yeah, smoke and mirrors, yeah. And the worst thing is doing battle scenes. I hate doing battle scenes, there's lots of smudges and things, and a few arrows going over here, and a few arms and legs.
Yeah, you've said recently...
You know what I mean? It becomes more abstract.
Well, you did like the British 2000 AD when you were working for them, you had to do like 8 pages a week, wasn't it? For some of the stuff. Was that?
I can do it. I need to.
No, I know. I've seen you do like, you used to tell me, and I've seen it actually, when you would do work on Lobo and things like that, you'd spend like 2 days, a day and a half, 2 days doing the pencils, and then a couple of days doing the inks, doing like an entire issue.
It's a bit like people who write music or write poetry. Yeah. It's just distinctive and it comes out. Just like, I think it was Miles Davis one, and he said it's 2 takes. The second take they'll use. Any more after that, you start repeating, become repetitive. But that's the danger that you can get into. Because I'm quite quick and slick. I could find ways of getting the work done, and I became like a parody of myself. So it was actually just become shorthand of what I was doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I had a period of time there where the work was pretty rough, but I'm much better than I was before. So
I've seen some of the work you're doing lately.
It's all about me.
It's all great, but it's funny. It's like I was reading this. I'm a huge Jack Kirby fan, as I mentioned, and probably will mention him a lot more times.
Sure.
He used to do 4 books a month.
Yeah,
He used to write pencil, 4 books a month. And I was reading Commandy again recently, and Chick Stone. Mike Royer was one of Kirby's favorite inkers, and he used to do the lettering for Kirby. And he was talking about working with Kirby in the beginning, and he used to have to ink 3 pages a day. Letter in the morning, 3 pages, and ink 3 pages a day to keep up with Kirby.
That's a burden. That's such a burden.
And I've seen you do 2 pages a day. Like when
I could do. I've done 5.
I believe it.
But
I can do half of one in a week.
But the thing is, you can really. Sometimes it takes a while for me to get involved. With the story, with doing the pages. But you do go into another world. And what I don't do is read the entire script. I take each page as I go along. So it's always new to me and fresh to me. So it's always, so you become involved. I become those characters who I draw, Which is, wasn't even a question, was it? I just started around there.
Doesn't matter.
But, it's just a fascinating process, really it is.
Kevin, have you become faster, over the years?
No, I haven't. In fact, it is by, artists or by working with people like Simon. It's like, it does help. It's like, it's all about Simon today.
But you don't do
No, but it is.
I was just thinking about that.
It's true. It's like, as you get older, you become a bit more economical, but you're still trying to, because at the end of the day, it's like, what we do is not a group sport. It comes down to like you sitting in a room by yourself usually and working, and so it is lots of things you come up with to make it interesting. Whether it's reading the script the night you're doing the project, or what you're watching and listening to in the background, to also having the speed of the work keep up with your brain, so it keeps it interesting to you, so you can keep the quality up. So,
do you do anything digitally?
no, I'm still pretty much just straight up all. I like the feeling of the pen on the paper. I've seen, I'm a huge fan of what I see that people can do with the Wacom tablets and all this stuff, especially for conceptual design and visual stuff for video games and all that kind of stuff. And I'd like to learn that someday, but for now it is,
I mean, it seems the appeal of that is the speed, and you two don't need that to a large degree.
Well, it's not laboured.
Good point.
It's not laboured.
Mhm.
You work quickly, it's more spontaneous.
Mm-hmm. So,
And you get far much more movement in the work as well.
get something else.
Very
We
slowly, it can be very static.
then we
do
get
you
something
like
we can sell
any
at the
digital
end.
artists?
No, not really, no. I mean, I'm not against the process, but I just absolutely just don't understand why you want to go digital
Mm-hmm.
and end up not having an original painting. You can sell for the same amount of money you got paid to the original job. It's stupid economics. I mean, it just made no sense. Because
Well,
if you want to do a painting, don't argue with me.
Okay.
No, it's that if you do a painting and it ends up being digitised anyway. Just another tool, but I think there is some snobbery in the digital fanatics. The thing is better because the technology is new. I mean, who cares? At the end of the day, it's what the end product looks like. How it's achieved doesn't matter.
Well, I think artists make, there's many artists who make more mistakes than you do in their process. So
You said they make mistakes.
you don't make any mistakes.
Fucker. Tourette's is kicking in.
How did you two hook up?
Bastard.
How did you two first get together? I see you both up here, and I can't help but hear the Odd Couple theme in my head.
There's an online dating service. Match.com. Fill out the form. And
You both have glasses and tattoos, but he's definitely
It's
Oscar.
getting worrying now. Where is this going to go?
we're secretly married. Nobody knows. No,
You have children.
I was
We have.
I was a huge Simon Bisley fan, and I started working out of an office. I opened up an office in the UK because we had started.
Who's your
doing
picture?
Let's not go.
Anyway, go on.
No, lost the train. No. So
So you opened up an office in the UK.
between blushing and losing my train. No, so I was opening up the office in the UK, and I was looking forward to meeting Simon, and he was showing me some of the work he was doing, which I'm pretty sure was the Judge Dredd Batman crossover, which was fantastic. And
Judgment Gotham.
Yeah, Judgment Gotham. Thank you. And I was working on this project Melting Pot, and I was looking for an artist to help me finish it. We sort of messed around and started working on that, and then really enjoyed the process. I think just hanging out together and we spend half the time laughing and the rest of the time working. And it's just fun. It's a good, we kind of two brothers from other mothers. Kind of.
What's the process like of working together on the art?
Well, it's good because Simon doesn't read, so I can just fucking. No, we
What's
actually.
the
I don't do Braille. I've been blind. I'm blind.
Yeah. No,
I
we
realise that these very good eyes I've got. I've got no eyes whatsoever. There's sockets.
No, it's funny because
That was a totally random thing. See what I mean? I know where that came from.
I'm the clean one. I'm the like. Simon, messes everywhere. Clean that up. It's sort of like I think we work.
Have you seen? You were just talking about a studio.
But it's like, it's like Ren and Stimpy. It's like, like, Stimpy, you idiot. It's like Simon would be walking around, like, doing amazing things, and I'm always trying to control him. Come on, you Stimpy, you idiot, let's go this way.
Very much that way, actually, in a lot of ways.
So talk about.
I want to just say,
Okay.
sorry not to go interrupting you, but I'm going to carry on.
I'm used to it by now. Don't worry.
It's, again, with me and Kevin's pretty much, it's always been pretty much instinctive, but it's never, we don't have to, we don't formulate any way of working together, just naturally just hand in glove.
It's a weird sort of evolution. It's even like, say anything we've ever set up with the intent to accomplish has one a bad idea, and it never works that way. It's always sort of that's much like the working process of us doing stuff together. It's very organic, it's very natural, and even up into the creation of these characters we're doing called Biz and Buzz. We were being flown over to work on this game for Capcom, this heavy metal game. And in between, they put us in business class. In between us completely destroying the little island that separated us by drawing into this big circuitry board in Sharpie that they were going to have to replace when we landed in Japan. Drinking,
it was like
drinking all the sake on the plane.
The bit in between the seats. You get this bit where you put your arm, and it was like what was it? It was like an ochre colour, a pale ochre colour.
Yeah.
And I just got a pen and made a little square. And I said, on, off. I said, no, we can't do that. So Kevin got a pen, he put a bit of wire coming from it. Before you know it, a whole entire Jack Kirby kind of like spaceship all over the place, all over the face and everything. There's no sake on the plane left. But the guy was very polite. He never said a word, did he?
He kept hiding it. We knew he saw it, but we were so
mess. Oh, and the worst thing of all, I wrote something on.
Oh, that was on.
Remember that? I had a Sharpie, right? And Kevin was asleep on the
episode of Friends, and
I got a marker pen and gave Kevin this huge moustache like this. And I wrote this terrible word, but it begins with C, ends with T, and monkey on his arm. And it was like he got up and I was crying like a little child and said, hilarious, he was standing in the aisle, going down the aisle to get off the plane to go through customs, this big moustache like this. And he saw it, he was furious. He was furious.
Oh, it's hungover.
But the funny thing is, you had to wash it off before he went through customs. So we just really had this really red moustache. It was blood spitting up there. I am cursing, because you're a bastard, fucking piece of shit.
That was on the way back.
Well,
that was because we did on the way there. I was quite sure that the Japanese would bring back public beheading to get rid of us. We would embarrass ourselves, embarrass the country. And so Simon did this little doodle of him as this kind of stimpy-looking character, me as this little wren, a little chihuahua character. And he said, "Well, this is going to be the last great adventure."
With no calf muscles. Remember that?
I have no calf muscles.
Kevin has literally no calf muscles.
They've been removed.
They're like elastic bands between your knee and your ankle. But they're really knotty, kind of like really powerful. They can leap over houses and shit, can't they?
I have fight or flight sense in it.
So people get bored now. Because you're rambling. I'm rambling.
If you haven't read it, the first installment of Biz and Buzz is available on your website for download.
Exactly. And the toys are available at the table. And there's only 3,000 of them. And when a meeting with Fox...
We've had 3,000 for what? Was it 10 years now? I said to Kevin, the heavy metal, the women paintings I did, they were made in a calendar. I said, Kevin, I was never sent one of those calendars. And he said, well, we still have all of them, so how many do you want? We still have 5,000 of these things. So we're going to do make houses out of it. And
I've given it up for Christmas gifts every year to all my family.
Everybody gets it for free. It'd be really nice to sell something, wouldn't it?
Biz and Buzz toys again.
Yeah, if you haven't already, be sure to check out both your website and also you.
There's heavy metal pirates on the website. There's a pirates on the heavy metal website. Is that there now?
What happened?
There's a virus on the heavy metal website.
There's a virus
today?
on the heavy metal website?
I mean, a few months ago.
Well, I hope it's gone now.
Are you sure?
All of the heavy metal issues you can
download
from your website.
It's a virus I set up to suck all the money out of your credit cards.
I got a virus to start the itch.
The calendars we have left over.
Now, Simon, you just recently set up a YouTube channel, is that correct?
Sorry.
You set up a YouTube channel, Biz TV, Simon Bisley. There's a whole bunch of interviews that came out that I would urge everyone to check out.
Well, they were kind of like, sort of spontaneous.
They're all very fascinating. I know everyone here is obviously a fan. They're worth checking out.
They're always interesting doing, always fun doing, especially in an environment where you're in your own home.
It's
more comfortable, so you can just
And if you think that Kevin is exaggerating about what a disaster area your studio is, you should check it out. It looks like a bomb went off. Off camera, you have to wonder, how far away Carrie Elways is handcuffed to a sink by his foot.
Well, things are working. It's a working environment. I'm not precious about what the place looks like. I mean, I think if you're an artist, I don't see why. I have no time to put the lid back on and paint tube.
Well,
how's that part of the process of the work? You need to put it on there, get it on there. Shift it around, that's the paint's done. If there's a mess, there's a mess. I'm not going to be putting everything down every time I finish with it.
Neatly arranged all by number.
Yeah, forget it now, just as a studio, working place. Actually, I think people assume I live there. That's how I live, They think I say, that is my house.
No, but I think
tiny little room.
What's fascinating is
it's painting.
How far away is it from where you live?
It was the same building.
It's the same building.
It's an extension of the house. It actually was like a cellar type thing. You restore jam and dead animals. You know what I mean? I thought, well, I'll use that because I used to smoke quite a lot.
How long is it?
So I didn't want to smoke in the house. I was basically kicked in there, you know.
How long has it been in your studio?
Let me finish this point. No matter.
How long has it been your studio?
For 20. Actually, I'm not there anymore. I'm back in the house. I stopped smoking.
You stopped smoking?
The main reason was actually in the cellar. cellar.
He's saving up
because I
for-
smoked a lot, and I think it's because of the American time. I would be. Probably I was in bed in England. The phones would be going off. I'd be speaking through the early hours of the morning. So I really gets better. I could wake everybody up because the phone was going all the time. So does that make any sense? Does that make any sense to me?
He's saving up to get a dirigible.
Can you edit all that
Fly around
section
the
out
house.
completely? No, so I work in the house now. Like I did before.
Full circle.
Oh my God.
You two appeared together in the documentary on Frank Frazetta, Painting with Fire, which everyone should check out. It's wonderful. Excellent.
Yes.
Applaud that.
No, he's, it's
Who you talking about? Oh, tell now.
Yeah, the movie ends with a quote. It's not the final statement in there from Roger Reed, who appeared in there. And he was saying, I think the ground that Frazetta broke in portraying his figures in a different way that had never been seen before will unfortunately be largely forgotten in 100, 200 years. And it really bothered me that was sort of the last line of the film.
That's lame.
Who said that then?
Roger Reed, who was
Weird thing to
interviewed.
say.
Did he paint or draw or do anything interesting? Or did he just say shit about
He was a historian.
No, was he?
Say shit about people. That makes no sense. Yeah, who is he? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know. Frank Frazetta, everybody knows. Who was it? Roger.
No, I think that's
No,
right. That's not true. I mean, Frank's a legend. But the thing is, it's a bit unfortunate that I think there was trouble with the Frank Frazetta gallery. So I don't know what's going on with that, but makes you wonder that I'm surprised America hasn't given them a great deal of homage and built a place. There's work to be there for a memorial museum or something. I mean, one of the greatest artists in the world ever. I mean, an incredible American,
Well,
that's how they come on, you know what I mean? There should be a fucking statue of him,
Yep. No, there was actually.
Yeah. Bless you, Frank. Bless you, man.
No, they're doing good news on that. I mean, one of the cool things, we're working on a heavy metal project with Robert Rodriguez, but he's also doing, besides Sin City 2, which Sin City 1 was awesome, he's also doing a live-action version of Fire and Ice. He's a huge Frazetta fan, and he's actually building in Austin a new Frazetta museum. And actually, because he felt the same, he was like, he's been over to the Frazettas and seen everything, and he said there should be a museum with a statue to this guy.
Absolutely.
And so he's actually creating environments where you'll see paintings in certain settings themed out to fit the sort of the scenes and a proper vision.
Fantastic. It's incredible.
And that'll be in Austin, Texas. And he's working on that now. I think they'll probably open up soon. So that's
I've not had a phone call from him.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He's called you several times. You haven't answered.
Bless you, Rodriguez.
Yes.
Kevin, obviously, you've owned Heavy Metal Magazine for a while, and recently we lost a very important person in the history of heavy metal, Mobius, who was, you had a quote from him on your website recently. Could you talk just about a little, this is a comic book convention, about how great a loss that was for comics?
Oh, it was epic, and I really, I think that around the time I was kind of getting bored with American comics. Under the Comics Code Authority, by the time you get about 12 or 13, they become very sort of generic. They can only take it so far. And about the time that I was becoming bored with comics as a medium, as I was growing older than that, along comes heavy metal. And heavy metal is mainly comics that the first issues split between European creators and up-and-coming American artists or underground artists like Richard Corbin and Von Bodie from America. But for the first time to American audiences, we get to see guys like Mobius, Iki Belial, Drew Gay, and these guys, and it was simply mind-blowing. I mean, much like we talked about Frank Miller and The Dark Knight, what that did, what heavy metal did to us in introducing us to guys like Mobius. It made us realize that you can tell any kind of story you want with comics in comic form. Historical, future, any time period, any medium, any story, anything you want to do, those are possible. And that was a huge revelation to me, because I thought it had to be, we always said that we'd grow up and maybe one day we get to draw Spider-Man or something, but no, you could draw anything you wanted to. And so I dove back into comics with a vicious...
Well, you're still pushing.
Terrible loss.
Heavy metal is, very important, for the history of comics. So thank you so much for, keeping it going. And
it's a great magazine to be a steward of, and I've been it's a huge fan of it for 35 years, publisher of it for 21 years, and this is our 35th year, and Simon, it's an interesting us being on the panel. I think Simon's been on more heavy metal covers than just about any other artist we've done.
So I just begged more, didn't I, than anyone other artist?
I would have Bisley covers on every one.
Kevin over the years has done me great favours and employed me. I have to thank him for that.
Please,
a couple of kids through school and all sorts of. Great deal of work, so thank Kevin.
Thanks, cheers.
Clap.
Clap, yes.
Thank you, Charlie.
Any other questions? No. Okay, we still got more time. Okay. So you've recently gotten back into the Turtles and doing some stuff for IDW, and there's some pages that just went up for auction that were absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
You're really at the top of your game art-wise. Talk about that whole process of getting back into the Turtles.
Thank you. No, what's interesting is what's funny is the last Turtle story I did was with Simon. We did this book called Body Count, and
which was wonderful. Go to the floor right now and pick it up.
Thank you. It wasn't like the last story. None of it was done with any intent or with any specific intent or malice or anything. Like around the time that we did Body Count, I was just starting on the second heavy metal movie, which don't see it, it's terrible. But we were starting work on that and other things. And Simon was visiting. We were visiting in Northampton, talking about other projects we wanted to do together. And I wanted him to do a turtle thing, and I showed him these John Woo movies. And Simon said, "Well, let's do the longest running gunfight in comics." And so we did this 100-page book called Body Count, which was one of my favorite Turtle stories and a fan favorite. So, but although since '96 to now, Turtles have always been a part of everything. Because every convention, every show, I get the most awesome fans coming up, and I'll do sketches and great to chat about this, that, and the other thing, and publish. And then, when Pete sold, I sold my interest to Pete many years ago. Pete sold to Viacom recently, and then they started this relaunch process where IDW picked up the comic rights, and they said, "Hey, do you want to do a couple covers?" I said, "Yes, absolutely." And I said, "What do you got in mind for a story?" And I went down and met with the incredible Tom Waltz and the guys down at IDW. Tom's the head writer. And he told me basically what he was planning to do, and I just thought it was fantastic. And so we started collaborating more and more on the story. I started doing covers. Then they asked me to do layouts for the first 4. So now I'm doing covers, layouts, and working on a new Turtles graphic novel that'll be a Turtles annual. That's 48 pages that I'm writing and drawing. I'm going to bribe Simon to do the cover with me on that.
No problem.
And that'll be on October. But one of the things I just want to say is that it's been the most incredible experience for me going back to working on the Turtles, because it reminded me about a couple things. How much, one, I love drawing, how much I love drawing comics, and 2, how much I love drawing the Turtles. Again, not that I was ever that far from it, but I hadn't specifically worked on it, and I really hadn't told a linear story in 100-page of Turtle layouts since '96 when working with Simon. So it's been an incredible welcome back, and I still can't believe that you guys are standing in line for 5 hours and 4 hours to see me, to sign autographs today, and that's a huge, huge, huge compliment. I thank you very, very much. It's awesome. Seriously.
And I know the sort of phenomenon of the Turtles when it first came out was a big surprise. And all of a sudden there was all this merchandise. You were really living the comic book dream that everyone talks about, even though people didn't know what it was. But it's important to just say this out loud. The quality of the comic book never went down. You guys did not phone it in. I mean, when movies were being prepped, you were doing Return to New York, which was wonderful. It was a wonderful, wonderful Turtles story. So it's always great to see people not jump the shark ever. So,
well, thank you very much. That's a huge compliment as well. Thank you.
So can you talk a little bit about what's going on with the new Turtles movie? I mean, I know there's a lot of interest in that. There's a lot of criticism about that. You know better than anyone, so let's set it straight.
Well, sure. No, I'll preface it by saying it. Like, when you look at one of the coolest things that we did, what a lot of people don't realize, or the hardcore fans certainly do, is that the entire Turtle universe was founded on 15 issues that Peter and I did together, issues 1 through 11, plus the 4 one-shots. We did go back and we worked, I did individual issues, Pete did individual issues, we did the Return to New York series and Turtles 50, but in between that, we got to work with a lot of really amazing artists that brought really incredible visions to the Turtles, and it was interesting to me, not only when we'd have these news guys come up and write a story with, Bissett's and Rick Veitch and Mark Bodie's, and that it was fascinating, the ideas and the places they would take it. When we specifically, and all the black and white comics were all written specifically for what Peter and I wanted to read, do, what we thought was interesting as a comic. When we started doing the animated series, it was the first time we knew that we were writing very much specifically for a specific audience. It was a 6-year-old boy, instead of, which, Peter and I aren't that far off from that mentally and what we enjoy. But all the black and white comics were edgier and older, intended for an older audience. So when we worked on the animated series and the toys, it was done for a much younger audience and with specificity. So different colored bandanas and those kinds of things. And when you look back at some of the ludicrous and loony ideas that we did in the animated series, it was perfect for that world, for that environment, for a much younger audience. I mean, we did some insane stuff that makes, if Michael Bay was doing them as aliens, would make like what we did before seem even more ludicrous. But that's not the point. The point is,
the whole thing's ludicrous from the get-go, isn't it? We can go with that.
Well, when you start with an idea as sort of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you can go to a lot of places, but there's still the respect that every one of these people in this room have found the Turtles and have found doing these shows in a multitude of different ways. Some found it from playing the video game and then realized there was an animated series and there was a black and white comic. Some found it through the comic, and then hated the animated series and everything else that came after that. Some found it through the animation and came into it that way. And what was interesting when we did the IDW series is that the idea was to specifically connect all those worlds into a new platform where we could tell ideas, connect the animated series with the tone and the flavor and the spirit of the original series, and then take into account the 4Kids entertainment version of the Turtles, which is a bit edgier, darker, and bits and pieces from the movies, and string it together. And that's one particular Turtle universe, kind of like we had in the old days. We always kept the black and white comic when everything else was going on. And then with the new animated series that Ciro Neely's spearheading for Nickelodeon, it's absolutely fantastic. The stories are lighter, the Turtles are a bit younger, the handling is more comedic, but contemporary comedy as opposed to what, like Turtles Forever was a perfect example. Did you ever see Turtles Forever? Yeah. That was fantastic. The 80s Turtles with the 4Kids Turtles and the original black and white comics. Those are the 3 worlds of the Turtles. And I'd sat with, and then jumping from the animated series to the movie, I'd sat with Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemeth, who are writing the new series, after I'd spent 2 years working with John Fusco on a new version of kind of the Batman Begins version of the first Turtle movie, which was scrapped by Paramount. And then Nemeth and Applebaum came in with a specific set of concepts and notes, all related in great respect and homage to all the stuff that's come before. Leavesman came in as director at the same time Michael Bay and Platinum Dunes has come on as a production company. And their intent is to make the most kick-ass, most awesome, martial arts heavy, true to the spirit of the Turtles movie ever, period. And so when I look at Michael Bay, who really hadn't, say, completely been brought up 100% up to speed of what the story was yet, he just come off Transformers and literally just was walked in the door. He said the Turtles are going to be aliens. Well, if you look back to the ooze, is an alien substance that goes back to Turtles issues 2 and 3 and 4. And so there is an element of Turtles having an alien background, but that's all I'm going to tell you. But the rest of the story is going to be something that I think you'll...
I thought it was the Daredevil canister.
Well, that even the Daredevil canister, they never said where the radioactive ooze and the Daredevil canister came from. So that's where we wrote this whole backstory.
So Daredevil's an alien.
Yes, he did. Yes,
Learn something new.
So we're working on and the story is still ongoing. We're developing it. We're writing it now. Been officially hired to work as a designer, and we're having a blast. Much like they brought me in on the Turtle series, the comic series, and the animated series. It's you'll love it. You'll like it.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Simon, we're going to go to questions quickly, but can you talk a little bit about what you're working on now, what's coming out, and just mention briefly, and I hate to put you on the spot like this, your Bible project, which is listed as unfinished. Is that going to be finished?
Well, it's never going to finish, is it? I mean, it can go on and on forever. I mean, obviously.
Are you? Well, what are your plans with it in the near future?
I don't know.
How
I'm
many-
not really considering it at the moment.
Okay.
To be honest,
What are you?
I think I'd like to do, if anything, really large scale religious pieces, huge scale stuff. I think.
Are you having a lot of fun with that?
I'm looking for a church to paint, you know, a bit like Michelangelo. That's what I want to do. I know it sounds a bit over the top, but that's what I want to do. I want a Sistine Chapel, busy Sistine Chapel type thing. It's a big project, but you know, that's what I'd like to do.
And we
Something
would love
real-
to see you do that.
Yeah.
We really would. You know, and
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Uncompleted-
I can't say some year. Let me do it. You know,
The-
my record anyway.
the Bible Project you can download from heavymetal.com. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So it's just beautiful, beautiful stuff. Check it out. And what are you working on now? What's coming
I'm
up?
currently working on, still working on Hellblazer as a part-time artist. We've got Matt Wagner and I doing with Legendary Tower, which is there's 3 badges and everyone's wearing.
And what's that?
That's a lot of pages, man. It's like about 1,000 pages. Or something.
It's a lot.
I tell you what's really good fun too. It is good fun.
It's a good thing you're fast.
You've got 3 panels a page of action shots and stuff. I'm just penciling it, purely penciling it. Which I like to do because going to the inks is like just repeating it all over again, if you know what I mean. So pencil it's done. Next.
How do you evaluate yourself as an inker? Do you ink all of your own
I'm
stuff?
a really bad inker. I'm certainly not an
How can you say that?
I don't think I'm very good. I don't think I'm very scratchy and not sort of very good.
What inkers do you like? What inkers do you think? Do you like Barry Windsor Smith as an inker?
Oh, of course, yeah. Who doesn't? I mean, I think what's his name? There's one guy. I forget who he is.
Vince Coletta.
There's a guy. He's doing. Let me think who's that guy. Well, obviously Neil Adams.
Yes.
Stunning. But I think pretty much everyone can ink better than I can.
How many pages
I
was
think I can ink.
4
I
Horsemen?
think it's like bullshit my way through things. Again, it's like with Hellblazer, instead of inking it, I'll do the pencils and rendering, you know, and use some ink. So that's my strength. For example, that's the reason why I painted Slain, the whole god, because Fabry had done it in pen and ink. And it's stunning. Fabry's work's stunning.
Yeah.
So I thought the only way I could make my mark is by painting it and make it different.
Right.
But you could really, mold things and disguise a lot of things and weaknesses with paint, you know. But that was very exciting, actually, those days, doing Slain.
And what's the other thing?
I've got plenty going on now.
Your new project.
I'm working, that's the main thing I'm working, and
4 Horsemen.
food at the table for the kids, and a house, the roof over their head.
Yep. Gas in the car.
Plenty on. Oh, I'm doing Superman as well, which is kind of odd.
Tell us about that.
I can't really talk about it, but
Tell you're doing Superman.
it's very like a
Simon
game.
Superman coming up.
It's like a game sort of thing that
I'm doing Superman 2 and I can't talk about it here.
it's very weird doing Superman.
Now, Superman, we kind of all agree, is an alien.
Anyway, there you go.
We're told we're out of time. Big round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We'll be back at the table, so if you have questions, sorry we didn't get to them, please come in.